Good afternoon, as it is 12:01, so it is afternoon. Welcome to another live stream, and we are at that point. Are you going to commit to the bear market, or are you going to commit to the bull market? The FOMO is in the air. The S&P is about to make a new all-time high. There's no reason to be bearish, and Bitcoin is starting to rally. If you go on YouTube, you will see inverse head and shoulders pattern. New S&P 500 all-time high could bring us all the way to 75,000. This is the moment of truth. Are we in a bear market or are we in a bull market? The 4-year cycle projects there's only 2 months left, which means there isn't exactly time to go to 73,000. So we shall find out. Best of luck to you all. Welcome to another live stream. We have Richard Desmond, Whale Talk, Petro King, Bull Parade, Chris 92, Vegeta, Smash Toshi, Craig Coates. GME's below 19. Is GME actually bearish? Oh yeah, my chart is playing out. Yeah, this is the 2018 pizza pattern. Let's see if it plays out. The 2018 pizza pattern. I think we pushed to a lower high, 103K. 103K from Vegeta. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, the bears in the chat yesterday People are getting too bearish. They're underestimating the bullish propaganda. But I know not to fade the bullish propaganda. We get a new 5-day candle today. There's a possibility she goes up to overbought. And that is where I would argue the top is probably going to form. When the 5-day stock RSI hits overbought, that's probably where the rally dies. The S&P is giving Bitcoin the headroom to get up there. However, what I was looking at before is we have Bitcoin divided by QQQ just got a 5-day bearish cross. Now, it doesn't mean that the top is in, but the last however many times you want to say, we did turn bearish on this chart, which means either Bitcoin is going to go down or it's going to underperform the QQQ. So, of course, there's no way of knowing. But the last 5 times we have crossed down, we've underperformed the QQQ. Now, it's not present on Bitstamp. Sorry, not Bitstamp. It's not present on the Dow, and it's not present on the S&P. So we do have to give the bulls more benefit of the doubt because we are still bullish right now. However, as you know from watching the channel, we can only stay up here for so long. And if the price doesn't start moving, there's nowhere to go but down. So I would probably give it till the end of this week. I think if we're still here by Friday, it's probably going to start turning bearish. I think I turn back into full-blown bear by the end of this week. That's what I think. I think I put my bear mask back on by the end of the week. GME is going through the Wyckoff spring. Yeah, this whole time I thought you were being serious, but now every single time I bring up a chart, you say it's a Wyckoff spring. So I don't know. I think you're trolling now, which is fine. If you are or you're not, it's all right. We are getting very coiled up on our BBWP. Yeah, you better brace for a big move, guys. Big freaking move coming. Big move coming. We had the blue bars here. We actually went up and then down. We had the blue bars here. We actually went down. It doesn't look like much, but from the blue bars, we fell by 10%. Which obviously, if we fell by 10%, that puts us at a new low. So, can't put in a new low if the bottom is in. We know in February we had the same thing. Yeah, we're getting something. This one was bearish. This one was bullish. Yeah, we're getting something, gentlemen. I think this week is where I take my bull mask off. Yeah, we're gonna get something for sure. Holy crap, look. You're getting blue bars on every time frame. I saw this last night. I didn't see it, but we actually have a 9-day blue bar. I don't know if I already showed this to you, but we have a 9-day blue bar. So you're gonna get something. This one we went up by 16%. This one we went down by 33%. So obviously if we go up by 16%, that means we go all the way up to 74. And if we go down 16%, that puts us at 53,000. Very uncommon to get blue bars on the 9-day time frame. It did occur at the end of the last bear market and during the bull market, which both times resulted in a 16% move down, 17% move down, and you could even argue 20% move up. So I do think August is the answer. If we don't go down in August, then maybe it's a super cycle. I'm not surprised that the S&P went up. I'm just disappointed because now I don't know if it's going to get the 200-week moving average. It might just keep going. But I do like that the semiconductors are not following. You could set us up for something like this. I wasn't going to buy stocks anyway. Well, I was going to buy the semiconductor stocks. So as long as the semiconductors don't really move, I'll be all right. But I have to imagine that if August isn't bearish or sideways for the S&P, we're probably not going to get our 200-week moving average. We'd have to be doing something like this, where we get down there by October. It's possible. I just took it over from here and dragged it over. So it is possible, but I'm not going to come on here clinging to it because if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And I want to be prepared for if it happens or if it doesn't happen. I don't want to be prepared for something that doesn't happen. I want to be prepared for both outcomes. Oh, that's a nice little trend line. I didn't even see that. Is Apple still keeping it up? Apple's actually going down. Something's got to be going up today. I think Meta's having a big push today. Yeah, I'm not sure. You'd probably have to... Oh, Amazon had a nasty move. There you go. Amazon had a nice move. Which I don't know if that's necessarily bullish because you see how all of these stocks, they keep having their moves by themselves. Apple went to the moon, as they say, but the semiconductors fell. So the S&P didn't move. Now you have Apple going down, the semiconductors not moving, but you have Amazon going to the moon. So either Apple and the semiconductors are going to recover or everything's going to sell off at the same time. We're at that moment where, I mean, obviously I'm not going to say that I know, of course, but I am favoring the bearish outcome because I am looking for 40K Bitcoin. But you have the recipe for both scenarios. Either we really are just never going to go down in the stock market, and I'm very open to that. I understand stocks never go down. But the BBWP is printing heavy bars, which means we're about to get something big. Big, big. So we could get this, or we'll get this. Which we already had to pull back. So we're in here somewhere. I don't know which is going to play out. What do I think? I think we should come down here because of Bitcoin. And if you look at the compression for Bitcoin, I am surprised it's actually not printing better BBWP bars. I mean, we have not seen this much compression since back here. I am surprised that this is not coming down lower. Maybe it does. We did just get a new candle last night, actually. The 2-week MACD is about to turn green. Last time that happened was January of 2023. So you could start making some bull hopium, I think, if we don't go down in August. I definitely think August is a big month. And if we do go down, then that's all I need to see to know that we're going down. August is one of the biggest months we've had in a long time. July was only big for the bears. Well, at least for me, because I wanted it to go up. But now we're presented with that same issue of in March, or I guess April, the S&P cleared the high and Bitcoin moved higher. But here the S&P cleared the high and Bitcoin went down. So I have to imagine that Bitcoin failing to move up in a timely manner will result in a move down, because the S&P can't go up forever. It has to pull back. And when Bitcoin goes up, it's supposed to be when the S&P goes up. So if the S&P goes up and Bitcoin doesn't budge, that's bearish. So we'll be watching, I think by Friday. If we still don't go up, I do think personally it's time to turn bearish. We had the double FOMC meeting. So if Bitcoin was going to go up, it's now. It's now or never. That's what I would say. It's now or never for Bitcoin. You are forming something like this too. You know, falling pattern is present. So if we're still going to pop up to that short-term holder moving average, I really think now would be the time to do so. I still am open to this, because this is an inverse head and shoulders. Not that I'm a shapes guy, but I do think there is still that chance we hit this short-term hold to realized price. The problem is now it's actually below where we topped. So we could technically just come right back to 67K, and that could be it. But I still think this is possible. So I'm just sitting here preparing. There's really not much left to prepare for. It's either going to go down or it isn't. It's a rotators market. Keep the ETF at highs. Get retail to sell crypto and switch to stocks. Sailor and the US government sold macaroni. ETH is still stuck. Well, the whole market is stuck right now. We didn't move yet. But the problem is we're supposed to be going up, which we got to give it time. There's no rush, but look, you get a 5-day candle for Ethereum today. So if we don't move and this crosses down, for me, I turn Mr. Bear Friday. Friday, I go back to being full-blown bear. Right now, I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt because they deserve it. But I can't look at this stock RSI and say, yeah, this is going to start flying. It should be flying right now. So I'm giving it until Friday. Because you gotta take this into consideration, as do I. I'm not saying it as if I don't. Of course I do. The longer we sit here doing nothing, the more blue bars you're gonna start printing. And the more blue bars you have, the more violent the move is gonna be. So back in June, I said on the stream, if we just sit here, we're gonna get a blue bar. Something like that. And somebody said we're not gonna just sit here. And of course we just sat here. If we just sit here, it opens up the door for a very violent move in a short amount of time. Now we don't have blue bars yet, so if we just sit here again, then maybe we'll get one. Which is why I'm surprised we don't actually have a blue bar on the 2-week time frame, because we haven't seen compression like this. Arguably, it's worse than back here. So I'm surprised we don't have it. Maybe I'm not looking at the right time frame, but I don't see it. Right? If I keep changing these, I get no blue bars. Oh, we almost got one here. Okay. Yeah, I'm giving it until Friday, and then I'm turning back into Mr. Bear. Yeah, we're about to get a 10-day blue bar. So we're either going straight up or straight down. Yeah. Straight up or straight down. I don't have much to I really don't have much else to show you all. I think we did a very good job of displaying all the information. You just have to make your decision. That there's really nothing left. But I imagine over the next 30 days, we'll either go to 75 or 57, 55, because we can't sit here for much longer. Oh, man. Let's check. What about Solana? Solana have any blue bars? Oh, Maron. That's nice. Yeah, Solana's got to make a big move too. Holy crap. Yeah, well, look at that. Solana's gonna get something. It's really gonna hit 150 or 50. Good luck. Good luck to you all. Doge probably has it too. Yeah. I think this Friday is where I go back to be a Mr. Bear. We can elevate the price, I think, for another week, because we're max bullish right now. So if we don't go up this week, I have to argue. Oh, wow. Yeah, we even have a 5. Oh, I already showed you this. Yeah, 5-day blue bar. That's kind of it, though. I don't know what else to show you all. I don't know what else to say. We've checked all the data. Have we checked STR? Yeah, it just goes down when MSTR goes down. It just follows MSTR. It's just, I think it's a nothing burger. What do I think? Is the market going up or down? I appreciate you tuning into the stream for the first time. Welcome. Welcome. I gotta add an 8-week. I was supposed to do that yesterday and I didn't. Yeah, I'm actually. Oh, there's a decent one. I'm actually surprised by the lack of blue bars for Bitcoin. You would think that we would have more of them. But here's another one. I think before I showed you the 9-day. Yeah, this is the 11-day. But we're gonna get something. What about 12? 12 days clear. 13 is clear. 16 is clear. Yeah, see, we really don't have that many of them. I'm surprised. Oh shit, there's a big one. 5-week. That's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah, that's what I want to see. So we have the firepower to get a volatile move. Definitely. Well, yeah, I think in the next 6 weeks, we're either at sub 50K or above 70K, maybe even 75. What do I think? I think 40K. Yeah, you got it on the total market cap too. We got Chris for 5 says Bruv's sentiment BTC sentiment ratio just hit a record low of 0.58, worse than FTX and COVID. This has often marked bottoms before rebounds. I appreciate the 5. Yeah, I don't know how to check that. How would I check that? I'm assuming it's an indicator. I don't know how to. Yeah, I don't know how to check that. But I appreciate the 5. If you can show me how to pull it up, I can pull it up. The bull market is back. It could be, man. You just gotta place your bets. That's all you can do. Actually, I wanted to check something. Yeah, I am not sure how to check what you're asking for. I opened a 100x short here. That's a little risky, no? Don't you get liquidated on a 1% move? Yeah, so I'm not sure how to look at what Chris is asking about, but I just Googled it and I can't really find anything. Just articles. Unless sentiment is just like a is oh, I knew I wanted to show you guys something. Yes, I found something. Oh, what is this? Sentiment? Whoa, what is this? Sentiment indicator. I've never heard of this, but it's just yeah, I guess Chris turned off his sound. He's not helping here. Yeah, see, we could still be in this relief rally, man. It could still be going. But I think we're at the end of it. But I guess Chris turned off his sound. I appreciate the 5. If you can tell me what to pull up, I'll pull it up. But anyway, I actually found on the side here, if you go to seasonality, you can actually pull up a chart of like all time, which can't really help us because Bitcoin, you can't really see anything. Can't see shit. But if you pull up SPY in 2022, we turned bearish in the middle of August. It looks like in 2023, we also turned bearish from where we are now. And if you just pull it back, I don't want to go past 2010. You can actually see all the different times we turned bearish. It's very hard to see, of course, but it's there. And you can check the average. And it says the average from now, we actually go down like right now over the next couple of weeks. So, but you could also just pull up a chart, which we already know that we could just look at the averages and you can see that the average is negative for September and August, and the rest of the year is green. But you can actually check the bear market years. 2022, August and September were red. 2018, September and October were red. 2014, September was red. And then I think 2011 was a bear market year. Or was it 2010? I don't know. But in 2023 and 2022, August was red. In 2019, August was red. In 2015, August was red. In 2013, August was red. We're green now. We were green last year and the year before that. We were green in 21 and 20. We were green in 2018. And I looked at oil and it's the same thing. Like, we're doing what we always do. That's why these people calling for $200 a barrel. I think oil goes down, honestly. I don't read the news. I think oil comes down by the end of the year. That's what it always does. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I prefer the chart other than the news. So Trump or whoever is going to do something and oil should come down by the end of the year. Whether it's the war, whether it's the reserve, whether it's Jesus, I don't know. But oil should theoretically come down, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right. That's just what I think. Oh, how about Ethereum? We should look at Ethereum, right? Very difficult. Oh, wait a minute. We could look at the table. Yeah, how does Ethereum perform? Oh my gosh. Oh, that thought that was the average. Okay, so Ethereum, September is Ethereum's worst month. So in 2025, August was green, September was red. In 2024, 2023, 2022, it was red. 2019, 2018, it was red. Okay, so in the last, here, listen to this. Ready? In the last 9 years, you had a red August or September. Oh, Ethereum's only been out for 9 years. Yeah, so in Ethereum's existence, you've always had a red August or a red September. One of them has to be red. According to historical data, doesn't mean it has to play out. It's just, according to data, August or September have to be red. Maybe it's different this time. But saying it's different this time, I have no data to support that. Oh, wow, look at 2025. September, October, and November was bearish. Yeah, in 2024, October, August, and December were bearish. In 2022, September and November were bearish, and August. Yeah, it seems like March and April are usually good. Man, seasonality is a real thing. You could say what you want about it, but I think it's a real thing here. I was trying to find some charts yesterday. Christopher 2 says sentiment data. It was breaking news on X. Gotcha. Let me see if I can find it. Looks like they have a website, sentiment. Of course, you gotta sign up. Everything requires signing up. Oh, I think sentiment is just a website. Yeah, it's just a website, like Glassnode. I see. So we just have to find a sentiment indicator. But what is sentiment? What is that? Like what would you look at? That's what I need to find. I was looking at this yesterday too, volume. Yeah, we never hit the bottom range for volume. You see how on the dotted line, Bitcoin bottoms here? We never hit it. But look at where we are. Same exact level as 2018. And 2014, look at this. Don't forget in 2014, we crashed afterwards. And in this exact area, the same amount of coins and loss were there, and we still went down. This was interesting. Doesn't mean it has to play out, but it's just volume. But we're missing the final piece. But this is not something that I would push because I think this is like a random indicator, right? So I'm not telling you guys that this has to play out because I don't try and pick random shit. I try and pick shit that always works, like the MVRV score and the Newpol. So even though this is bearish, I'm not going to push this because it's very random, the random indicator. But how would I check sentiment? That's the question. Consumer sentiment? I don't really know. I only see fear and greed. Right now, we're actually having a higher fear. Is there a way I can pull that up? You have to pay for their charts and indicators, but they made a breaking news post about how it's reached historic lows. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I wish I could pull it up. I'm not sure. I mean, this is interesting for sure, but it just looks like another RSI. Maybe they're talking about this. Sentiment has hit historic lows. Yeah, this actually paints the same picture. It's historic lows. The problem is it's a historic low every time it goes down. I think you could definitely argue we're near the end of the bear market, but you could have argued the same thing here and it continued to go lower, even though the bottom was in over here. But as you're going down, it's always a new low. And it bottomed first, and then this indicator reversed. But in 2022, it bottomed at the bottom. So we don't know what it's going to do. But this pretty much paints the same picture of what you're saying. The sentiment hit a new low, all-time low. But I guess you'd have to find out if you could, if the sentiment hit a new all-time high when it was bullish. Because if it made a lower high, then it doesn't help us. See, this made a lower high, so it's expected to make a lower low. The problem is you made a higher high here and you still made a lower low. So whatever you're looking at, if you can, you have to pull up the bullish version. Yeah, I don't have X. I'm logged out. X is the biggest cesspool in history. It's just a bunch of know-it-alls who never get anything wrong. And then if they do, they just give you both options, so they're never wrong. Actually, let Let me check that for the S&P. What is that giving us? Yeah, she's still bullish. The S&P is still beasting, man. She's still beasting. Beast to the east. She's still beasting. Shout out to the stock boys. They never lose. Yeah, this could be something to watch. It's close to turning red. Stock boys win again. Oh, rip to the crypto bros, man. The stock boys win again. We got Mr. Meowsis in the house. Says he sold his dot. That's what's up, man. Did this thing make another low again? No. Okay. We got Mixer in the house. Welcome back. On BTC USD ML, we already had 50K. Yeah, but remember we were looking at that in 2022 and we still went down anyway. I learned this time around, don't use any fancy charts, just use the normal chart. What I find interesting is Bitcoin is not moving and we're about to make a new all-time high. Which to me that opens up the possibility of another rally, but it tells me that it's fake. But I made a nice little chart yesterday. I made a really good chart for me. So I basically took what we were talking about the other day and I mapped out everything. I mapped out bottom to top, bottom to bottom, bottom to halving, halving to top, halving to halving, halving to bottom. And if the history repeats, the bottom should be somewhere in October. I even mapped out our Moonboy events. It's a beautiful chart. Beautiful chart. Sorry, it's got to be the weekly time frame or it doesn't work. And I think it's a big deal because we have a projected halving date. They gave it to us. It's on the internet. So we could apply prior measurements to now. And this blue line is something that I did. It's just 310 days from the peak. And this is what I find interesting. Ready? If you go to the 6-day time frame, you can also do the 7-day, but I think I did the 6-day. You can see we have black candles. Did you know that in every single bear market, when you hit this blue line, you also had black candles? Of course, this one is white as I say that. Maybe it was the weekly. Oh, this one's white too. But either way, you get the concept. It's either black or white. But you always get white candles after black. So here you can see the candles are white. In 2018, you can see the candles are black, and then we went down to white. Even in 2014, you had black candles, and then you went down to white. And then I said to myself, well, why is it not white now? What is keeping it from turning white? And I actually looked at this for the first time ever, and you can actually see that we are so far from turning white. I'm gonna have to change it to Bitstamp so you can see it. But we are so far from turning white. And the reason why is because this indicator actually came up to prior bear market, this indicator actually came up to prior bull market highs. On the RSI, you have a bearish divergence from April. We don't have that. So I'm not saying it's going to be right. I'm just showing it to you. The stochastic heat map is giving you the real momentum with no divergences. So that's why people are saying we capitulated, because the RSI is down here, but the RSI topped back here. This started falling here. So in all prior bear markets, we bottomed below the line. We're not even close to the line. So we would have to go significantly lower to get that white candle. I'm not saying it's going to be right. I'm just letting you know that's what it says. And I do remember, if you were here for the last bear market, we did say whenever we get the white candle, we'll know the bottom is in. The problem is I was screaming the bottom was already in before we got the white candle. And then when the real bottom formed, I forgot about it because I was coping, but we got the white candle. Now, this is a separate chart. I don't remember the settings I had, but if we're looking for an absolute bottom candle, I believe I made them purple. Yeah, I made them purple. So on the 4-day time frame, when you get purple candles, we know the bottom is in. So I guess we have to check. Where's purple? Okay, I don't want to do it on this one. I want to do it on this one. Yeah, when do we get purple candles? We got purple candles here. We have to lower this white line to here. And did we also get a purple candle in 2018? Should be right here. Yes, we did. Okay. But where are we? Oh, we almost got it. Yeah, so we need one more flush down to get purple. But what I find really interesting is, look at how high up we are on the heat map. We're above the June 14th high, but the price is in the same spot. So we have more room to go down now. Yeah, so once we get purple candles, I have to assume the bottom is close. I think the next flush down is the bottom. I really do. I think the next flush down is the bottom. It's like that on every time frame. That's why I like this indicator. Because if you look at a lot of indicators, RSI, MACD, stock RSI, whatever, they all have divergences. Which technically this one does too, by definition. But this is the slightest divergence. The move down is legitimate. Like when you hit these colors, you're oversold. When you hit these colors, you're oversold. We never hit oversold. But here's the thing, when you hit overheated, it was time to start exiting. And that's when people started making a lot of money. Right here. The same thing happened in 2020. When you started hitting overheated, this is where everybody started making money. Now, 2017, obviously, the further back you go, the more time there is to make money. But that's because Bitcoin is getting shittier and shittier. Shitty, shitty, boom, boom. And the fact that the bull run did the same thing, where you get X amount of time in the red and then it reverses, X amount of time in the red and then it reverses. We never hit white, which is the missing piece here. And because this indicator is actually more bullish than it was at the low, in order for it to print a white candle, we have to go lower than we did in July. Or, yeah, July or June. Again, I come on here just showing you. I'm not saying it's going to be right. That's just what it says. Personally, I like it because it's color-coded and we're all retarded. So color is easy to read. But I do want to point out to you that we do have black candles and we're about 310 days from the top. And in both or all, not even both, in all prior market cycles, we were either white in 2022 or black in 2018 and 2014. And we went down even lower. So I do think we should go lower. Now, I want you to keep in mind that the stochastic heat map is not an on-chain indicator, which technically does mean it is a variable indicator, meaning you could say it's cherry-picked. That's why I'm not saying you have to listen to it. You don't have to listen to anything. But we've been using the heat map for 4 years. And we always said when it hits overheated, that's where the time starts for the top. And you can see this one was 570 days. This one was only 330 days. You can't even really say that because there's a lot of holes in here. And this one was very long. This one was very long. Oh, it's actually smaller, 220 days. Yeah, so this last bull market that we had was actually the longest. The problem is, well, it's getting longer every time. The problem is the altcoins are topping here and here. So it would make sense that on the downside, you would say that the altcoins are bottoming, which I'm sure is what some people are saying, which I understand. It makes sense. The problem is when we came down here, how many altcoins made new lows? And then when we came over here, how many altcoins made new lows? So people that are saying buy altcoins, even if the bottom is in, it's extremely dangerous because how many alts bottomed here and then made new lows over here? That's why I'm never touching altcoins again until we get to the end of 2027. But yeah, this is my state-of-the-art chart. I'll be right back. I have to urinate. Come join the stock master race. I can't. If we don't get the S&P 500 to pull back, I'm stuck in the crypto shadow realm. Teutonic says, I hope the bottom is not in. If the bottom is in, what will I do? If the bottom is already in, I have to wait until I'd probably have to wait until March to buy in anyway. %35% says the bottom's not in. That's not too bad. Get your votes in, chat. We actually got a decent amount of votes. If we don't get a pullback, do I think bull bottomed? I would say, yeah. If the S&P doesn't get that crash, then bull probably bottomed. You should still get another chance to get in. Not financial advice. I hope we don't chop for the whole month. We could. There's no law that says we have to go down in August. But by the end of August, we should be down there. So we could do nothing all month and then the last week of August go down. And it would be the same exact thing as if we went down. I don't think August is as bearish as some people think, man. It's already August 3rd and we didn't move. Now, it also, it's worth noting it only takes one day to go down there. As you can see, you had a 6% candle here. You had a 7% candle here. So if we went down by 6%, we're already back at the low. So all I need to see is this. We can come to the low and then chop around. That's bearish. Anything other than this is ultra bearish. And as you know, because we already went over this multiple times, I'm a momentum believer. And the momentum is bullish right now. There's no reason why we should go down. Especially now that the S&P is making a new all-time high. This chart is going to turn bearish. Which the last 3 times it turned bearish, Bitcoin collapsed. Actually, the last 5 times, 3 times. The last 3 times we went down. So I do think we're getting to that point where we gotta make it, we gotta move. And that's what the BBWP says. The BBWP says you're gonna get a big move. Probably in August. And if it's anything other than up, then we're going down. The poll only has 2 options, bearish or really bearish. No, it says new lows or bull run is close. 35% think the bull run is close. That's not too shabby. 35% think the bull run is close. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you guys. Now, I'm not a big election guy, but I know our favorite YouTuber, Lord Cowan, uses the term midterm years. Oh, wait, we don't even have to do that, actually. Hold on a second. So apparently, I found this yesterday. I'm sure everyone else is already talking about it, but I'm in my own little echo bubble, or however, echo chamber. But apparently, the pre-election year is the best time to get money. Look at this. This isn't what I wanted, but you're gonna have to just take it. But the pre-election year is the strongest year in the stock market historically. Which is true because look at what happened in 2023 and look at what happened in 2019. So 2027 should be ultra bullish. Which is why if we get this crash, dude, I'm just going to close my eyes because everything is going to go straight up. But it says here the midterm years, typically September, October is the bottoming phase, and then we rally into Q4. Now I'm going to try and give you a picture because I found a picture that was very interesting. It's just, it turns it into a chart. Well, oh, what would I call it? A line chart. Yeah. Can you make them into a line chart? Let's see what it does. Here you go. So in the green, which is the pre-election year, there's no question pre-election is the best one. Which makes sense because January of 2019, January of 2023 was bullish for Bitcoin. January of 2015 was bullish, but then it was bearish again. But if you look at the red, actually, if you look at the yellow and the red, historically, August and September and October are not that good. And the thing is, you can see that July and August are kind of struggling. Even in the election year. But that's what we have. We have the price stalling in May and August. Which this typically says July. Well, actually, it's bearish from March, but we weren't bearish from March. So I wonder if we're going to follow this. July, August, and September are usually the worst months. Obviously, if you're only looking at the red line, it's bearish from March to September, but we didn't get that. We got the crash in March, but then it went up. So if we focus on all of them, it looks like in all four, after September, you kind of go bullish. But there's no weakness after October. So if we're going to go down, we got to start going down soon. We don't have to go straight down in August, but we kind of do have to see some type of bearishness in August. So if we do nothing, and like, I mean, dude, you literally have the Bollinger Band telling you something's about to give. So we have to either go up or down. What I'm saying is we don't have to crash in August, but we do have to go down to the low by the end of the month. So we could technically do nothing and then towards the end of the month just go like this. And then we would still have 30 days to go from 58K We might even have 40 days to go from 58K down to wherever we're going. If it is 40K, which is what I'm hoping for, we would have to go down 30% in 38 days. And if we look at all the moves, not even just in this market cycle, but just in general, you can see that that's very doable. 27% here. This one was 22 days. 38%. So all I need to see for me is Bitcoin to go back to the low. That's it. If we go back to the low in the month of August, that's all I need to see. Because if we go back to the other bear markets, you can see that we really don't need that much time to go down. And I think that might be why we're going sideways, because it doesn't take that much time to go down. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You actually measure it. You really move in 8 to 20 day increments. Holy crap. You know, even back here, even if you count this whole thing was 27 days. Look at how far down you went. Yeah, 30%. So I really think this was technically a bull market. I'm not going to count that. Technically, I really think if we just sit here, it is bearish. This one was 32 days. Yeah, look, we went down 50% in 32 days. So all I would need to see for me to breathe a sigh of relief, like, all right, we're going down, I just need us to go back to the low by the end of August. So we can do whatever we want. We can chop around all month. If by the end of August we're back at 57K, we have 30 days to go down 30%, which historically that's happened every time. Every single time Bitcoin has moved down in 30% increments, it has taken less than 30 days. So if you're bullish, you need to see the price go up or stay where it is, but high. If we see Bitcoin go back into the 50s at any time, I'm going to argue that's all she wrote, in my opinion. $101 watching and only 27 likes. It's okay. You guys don't like me. It's not a big deal. The weekly MACD can stay elevated though. Yeah, the S&P doesn't want to go down, which is fine. But we got to see how this ends up playing out before we start shouting it's not going down. Because for all we know, we could be in here. And then it goes down. But SPY has been pushing and we're not really moving. So I would have to say this. This is what I think. I think if Bitcoin is actually going to pump like people are thinking, it's going to happen when we break the high. I also think that when we break the high, Bitcoin is going to pump. But if it's still stuck here and it goes like this, that's where the top would be. And that rejection, anything that looks remotely like this is just ultra bearish. Because like we said before, if you look at every time Bitcoin pumps, it's when the S&P clears the high. We cleared the high here, and Bitcoin went up for the top. We cleared the high here. And Bitcoin went up for the top. So I have to imagine that when we break this high, Bitcoin is going to get something. Anything that looks like this just tells you it's bearish. Because the last 2 times that happened, it was bearish. I mean, you could even argue here it's the same concept. Bitcoin or the S&P was breaking the highs and Bitcoin wasn't doing anything and it was bearish. But even at the last second, you still had a really big spike up like this. So I have to be open to a spike up. I can't tell you that I know it's going to happen, but you have to respect the data. Maybe it doesn't come, but the data says it has a high chance of coming. So when we get to 68K, that's where everybody flips bullish. And if it is bullish, everybody's going to say, holy shit, the bottom is in. If it's not bullish, when we get there, people are going to say, holy shit, the bottom is in. And then the rejection is what sends us down. So as our friend Vegeta would say, our friend Vegeta always says Wyckoff Spring. I'm not a Wyckoff. I don't even know what that is. I've heard of it. We would get a Wyckoff Spring to the top, and that would trigger us down because you need it. You get it every time. The Wyckoff Spring. So I would argue we have to be open to another Bitcoin pump. But we're getting to that moment of truth because if you're looking for a bull run, the S&P is about to make a new all-time high. And if Bitcoin still doesn't go up, why would it go up? Why would it ever go up? You hear what I'm saying? You're picking up what I'm throwing down. I said you got a shot at a bottom after the S&P makes a new all-time high. Even in 2019, where the bull market started, when we went back to the all-time high right here, Bitcoin started pumping like a madman. In 2023, when the S&P went back to a new high, or I guess not a new high, but we broke this high, we had already started pumping. So what on earth are we waiting for? I ask myself this question all the time. If Bitcoin is going to go up, what is it waiting for? You got to look at the data, not what a YouTuber tells you. Every time the S&P breaks the high or pushes to the high, Bitcoin goes up. So if we're not going up now, then what are we waiting for? Even in this bear market, we broke the high, Bitcoin went up. We broke this high. Was it here? And Bitcoin went up. So I have to respect that there's always a chance it goes up. But anything other than straight up is ultra bearish. Because if the S&P does do something like this, when we get this, that's when the S&P goes down. That's what happened the last couple of times. You see how the S&P had a very small pullback here, but Bitcoin took a shit? The same thing happened in January. We had the very small pullback, but Bitcoin went down. Same thing just happened again. We had the smallest little pullback and Bitcoin went down. So if the S&P goes like this, I have to assume Bitcoin's about to go like this. And that's why I have to turn bearish by the end of the week. If the top is next week, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I can't tell you where the top is. But we're in the range. We should be in the range over the next week, I think. If it's not in already. Maybe the top's already in. But this BBWP says in the next couple of months, we're going to be much higher or much lower. So you got to prepare for that. 4-year cycle says we should be much lower. The super cycle says we should be much higher. The super cycle also said we should be much higher here, and we went down. The 4-year cycle said we should go down. So I have to say the 4-year cycle is probably going to be right. That doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just letting you know my opinion. We open up the questions for the press right after this quick commercial break. Gareth Soloway says 35K. Yeah, Gareth Soloway. It's waiting for you to sell and walk away. I sold in November, my brother in Christ. I've been out of the market for a while. It's almost time to get back in. Midterms tend to be better. I don't want to look at bullish. I fully accept that the S&P may not come back for me. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow, but I have the water right next to me, ready to swallow the pill. Remember back in November, I said the faster you swallow the pill, the better off you'll be. I am already swallowing the pill that the S&P might not come back for me. I'm okay with it. If I have to play MSTR and Sailor, if I have to play in Sailor's Farm, I'll play in Sailor's Farm. I don't want to. I would prefer to be a stock boy, but if I have to play a sailor, if I have to be a sailor sheep, then I'll be a sailor sheep. Yeah, this is where the road ends, guys. Good luck. I think we're gonna shoot for Saturday. I think Saturday is where the vacation starts. What do we think? I don't know. We'll wait. I'm not bullish. My point is the midterms. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying you're bullish. You said that it might not be as bad, so we might not get a massive drop. And I'm saying I fully accept that. I don't want to look at it because I already accepted it that it's possible. My goal is to switch over to the stock market, but I'm not going to buy stocks if they're all up here. A lot of these RSIs are still not healthy. I can't put my money in. I can't do it. If the RSI doesn't pull back, I can't get in. There's no way. The semiconductors pulled back, but the QQQ pulled back a little bit. But yeah, we got I can't buy in here. So if we don't get the drop, then I have to stay in the crypto scam for another year, unfortunately. Trendline Texas down 37,000. This guy said if SOXL is at 9, I don't think it's going back down there, man. I don't think it's going back down there, my brother. Against all odds for 5. I appreciate the 5. It does help a lot in times of despair. Thank you very much. It does help in times of despair. We've got a monster bull flag. This is the Moon Boy's chance to break free from the bear market. This is the Moon Boy's chance right now. This is the best chance you're gonna get if you're a Moon Boy. This is your chance. You have max bullish momentum on every single time frame. We're gonna get a new 5-day candle today. It's probably gonna shoot up. So I would argue we got 10 days to go. I would say if we're still here in 10 days, it's over. Yeah, if we're still here in 10 days, I would argue it's probably over. Oh, look, it was another Wyckoff spring. That was it. That was the Wyckoff spring. I appreciate the 5. 300x on AOIZ. Good luck, Sonny. This Trump pump will fade by tomorrow. I don't know. I think we could be bullish for another couple weeks, man. I know you're Mr. Bear now, but it's not bearish yet. We're getting there. Oh, it was the Wyckoff spring. Look at that. What a call. What a call. I'm just kidding. Everyone's retirement plans are buying into the stock market. Yeah. I would like to switch over to the stock market, but if I have to do crypto, I will. I mean, worst case scenario, I could buy Solana at 40 bucks, you know? You could do Solana, MSTR. There's plenty of options. I would just prefer to do the stock market because I know it's going to go up. I don't know if Solana is going to go up. I think it is, but maybe it doesn't. Wisdom says Orange Man might not let Bitcoin fall below 60K. Yeah, 35% of the chat thinks so. There's a decent amount of people that think we could go up. So you got to prepare. You got to prepare. You sound confused. Bitcoin, nothing outperforms Bitcoin. I appreciate the feedback from greats, from Gators and Cars. That's Wyckoff UTAD if you think it's distributing at local highs. That's the upside down spring, baby. Get prepared for fall. You call it the Wyckoff spring, I call it the Wyckoff fall. No, I don't know if I don't know what that is. It's just a candle. MSTR at 35 in October. I don't know. You're being a little bit greedy. Sell at 1200. That guy's fucking greedy, man. Do you guys read what he's saying? 35 to 1200. Oh man. It is an exciting, we can't assume it's going to do the same thing again, man. You can't. 35 on $35 is here. 1200. Yeah, that guy's high, man. He's high on the chicken curry. They let the curry in the crock pot for too long. You got to take into consideration the market cap is 33 billion right now. So a 10x is 300 billion. I don't know if that's going to happen. Can we calculate a top? What was that website where it shows us all of the... What was that website that we were looking at that showed us their... Oh, what do we got here? Well, what do we got here? What was the website? CoinGlass? No, it was something else. I can pull it up for you. Give me one moment. Give me one moment, please. Give me one moment, please. All right, so in the bull market, we hit 2.64. And in 2021, we hit 3. So there's no guarantee that we're going to hit that again. 2.64. But if we did, you would have to... You probably could calculate it because you can get the market cap. You can get the valuation of their holdings. See, we're making a higher low on their value because they're holding more Bitcoin, but their stock price is going down because they're making more shares. So you'd have to calculate how much Bitcoin they had here. I guess I could punch it in. I guess that's why they invented AI, so people like me can be lazy and just paste it in. All right, so USD value is 77 billion. And what is it now? Right now it's 53 billion. Okay, so we're going to go on enterprise value, not market cap. Wait, but the value of their holdings is 53 billion and the market cap is 36 billion. So that means it's undervalued, no? But the NAV is at 1, which means it's not undervalued. So how do you even calculate? MNAV goes burr at 170. You could probably, if you really wanted to do it, you probably could figure out where the top is. Because if you take a modest multiplier and say 2, I don't even know what to plug in. I do, I just don't feel like, I mean, I don't, but I would figure it out. I just don't care, honestly. I don't care enough to do it. Just like this guy's telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about with Bitcoin and stocks. I just don't feel like explaining it to him because I've explained it 50 times. So just do what's best for you, and that's all I got to say. Appreciate the feedback. MSTR has issued more shares. Yeah, I know. That's why I can't expect it to do a 30x again. But maybe if it goes to 50, I could still get like a 7x. That's still good. That's still good, man. Going from 50 to 400. DCA target. I actually forgot about target. Is it still bearish? Wow. Do they even pay a dividend? 3%. Yeah, I forgot about Target. What was the other one? Texas Roadhouse? It's still going. Yeah, this thing sucks though. It only did a 2x, 3x. I was joking. No, I know you were joking. I just forgot about Target because I forgot about Target. Like I remember Target was bearish and I just wanted to know if it went back up. Just like Home Depot. Yeah, Home Depot did nothing for 5 years. That's why individual stocks I think are too dangerous because you could buy something that might not move. That's what's so scary. That's why the ETFs are the safe place because it always goes up. I guess if I'm feeling risky, I could do DRAM, but I would still do SOXO. Yeah, I don't know. That it? Is that it for the semiconductors? They already bottomed out? Because if not, we discussed yesterday that we have to go below 680. 680 is 17%. So SOXL should fall by 30%. Yeah, 80 bucks. Man, I can't believe we could have got in $9. Oh, hey, this thing went down. Hold on a second. Yeah, some of these semiconductors are still bearish. Hold on. We might not be done yet. Oracle's bullish, damn it. Yeah, that can't be it, right? Oh my God, the S&P is going vertical. Is Bitcoin pumping? Wow, it's still not moving. Yeah, we're getting close to a new all-time high here. I'm actually surprised Bitcoin's not moving. I mean, I'm bearish, but I'm surprised it's not moving. Even I was thinking maybe you get something. Nothing? Maybe we're not going to go up to 70K. Yeah, if we make a new all-time high and Bitcoin still doesn't go up. What is pushing it higher? Amazon? Let me check. There's got to be something I'm not looking at that's making it go up. Microsoft? Oh. Yeah, see what's interesting? It's like I said in the beginning of the live stream, these stocks, they don't go up at the same time. When the semiconductors go up, Microsoft goes down. Apple wasn't really going down, but it wasn't really moving. You know, like it came back to the same price that it was in December. Now Apple pulled back and everything else is going up. So I guess the question here is, did the semiconductors top out already? Because if they topped out already and there's another leg down, then Apple could start a leg down soon. And Amazon is already pumping right now, which we can see based on Amazon's price action over the last couple of years. It does kind of reverse on a dime. If it's bearish, you could be right here too. I'm not saying it is bearish, But if it is bearish, it can appear bullish and then reverse down. So if the semis topped out and Amazon rolls over, there's literally nothing holding it up. Which also means the opposite is true, which means if the semis did bottom, then we are about to just go straight up, and the S&P is not coming back down here. It's a double-edged sword, which is really tragic. If the S&P really goes to 800, that would be really disappointing. Because then it's not going to come back down, and I'm stuck in the crypto shadow realm. The problem is you're out here shilling alts, and if these dudes listen to you, they'll get burned just as bad as you. Alts will beat to Bitcoin. If you can't answer a simple question, then that's on you. I don't give a F. You know, gators and cars, normally I would try and explain it to you, but you're new to the stream, so I don't really feel like explaining it to you. I haven't shilled any altcoins over the last couple of months, so I'm assuming you're new to the stream and you're always welcome. And I know you're new to the stream because you're not understanding what I said for the last 2 months. And if you've been here and you still don't understand, then I can't help you. So there's really no reason for me to explain it to you. So I appreciate the feedback. I wish you the best. If you're making money buying Bitcoin, then you should buy Bitcoin. I don't know what the problem is. Next question. Poria says new all-time high, then dump. I don't know. That would be nice. That would be nice, but there's no guarantees. That has to be a bot comment. No, there's a time where you just get past the point of responding to the trolls. There's nothing I can say. Roblox? Oh, I forgot about Reddit. Is Reddit bearish? Yeah, if Reddit turns bearish, we go bearish. Forgot about Reddit. Reddit could be a good one too if you're a gambler. I actually forgot about Roblox. Didn't... Oh wow, Roblox sucks too. Yeah, didn't Bumble go public too? Whatever happened to Bumble? Bumble my fumble. Yeah, bearish. Bearish. Why doesn't Sunny put 300,000 on Bumble? Maybe it'll go back up. Wow, we're about to make a new all-time high. We're so close to a new all-time high. Does Shiba pump before Bitcoin goes down? Typically, yes, but Shiba already pumped. So I think if Bitcoin's going to go up, it's got to go up now. I'm bearish, and even I must admit I'm kind of shocked that Bitcoin didn't go up with this. Because if Bitcoin was going to go up, when is it supposed to go up? Like, that's all I say to myself. When S&P was 70, when the S&P was 750, Bitcoin was 80,000. Now the S&P is at 757 and it's at 63,000. So when is it supposed to go up? When SPY goes down? Because that's happened before. Yeah. I really think we're running out of time here. I'm getting a little bit excited again. Dude, no, seriously, when is this supposed to go up? What are the Moon Boys saying on YouTube? It's going to go up when the QQQ makes a new all-time high? That means that SPY's going to 800. 34% says the bull run is close. Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How are we looking on the shit coins? We almost got this. It's very small. Altcoin is actually breaking the uptrend. Solana is still bearish as well. Jasmy's at the low again. H bar is trying to go back up. Oh, what about Luna Classic? Oh, this is big. Yeah. Every time Luna Classic comes to this trend line. Yeah, if Luna Classic breaks down here, we're bearish. I'm not joking. You guys think I'm joking. If Luna Classic breaks down, we're bearish. Every time Luna Classic bounces off of this trend line, we go up. This is it right here. You're not gonna get a better chance to go up than right now if you're a moon boy. The last time that was the case was April and May of 2026. I think we rise into October. Could be, could be. You gotta be bullish now. Because if it's not bullish now, there's no reason to be bullish until after the 4-year cycle is over. Place your bets, gentlemen. There's no more bets. The betting table is closed. Betting slip has been... I can't wait to be a gambler. If this works, I'm going to be a gambler full time. No more bets. Yeah, we're really about to make a new all-time high. Wow. No more bets. I don't think Shiba will pump one more time. It could. Everything that I was looking for already occurred. The only thing that's missing is 68,000. If we don't hit 68,000, I'm okay with it. We got the Shiba pump. We got the lower low on MSTR, Coinbase. We got the lower low on Doge. We got the Shiba or the Floki rally. I don't have anything new to look for. All of my bearish indicators have gone off. The only thing that's missing is the pop back up to 68K. But I'm also looking at IBIT. And I remember I showed you guys this the other day. I think it was yesterday. I'm looking at the RSI on IBIT, and I realized that we're hitting the downtrend of the bear market. So there is a scenario where the top is already in. I'm openly telling you I don't know. You're going to have to watch the YouTubers that make every single call that are never wrong. That's not me. But I'm not going to sit here telling you, oh my God, we have to keep going. We were looking for the relief rally down here, and we got it. Now, if it's still a bear market, we have to make a lower low. But if I look, the missing piece for me to turn into if we already hit 70K, I wouldn't even be streaming right now. That's how bearish I would be. I'm kind of upset that we didn't, because I would have no reason to be bullish. The only reason I'm half bullish is because I still think it's possible. I'm not saying it's probable, because according to our Moonboy chart, we are entering the window where we're supposed to start going down very, very, very shortly. Our window is actually about to close this week. So after August 12th, with or without 70K, I have to turn bearish. I have no options. Does that mean we have to go down? No. But by the end of August, even if we sit here, if we get down to 58K by the end of August, then that's it. We have 50 days to go to 40K, which we already discussed. If you look at Bitcoin's bear markets, it only takes 20 to 30 days or less to fall 40%. So if we're at 58K at any time in August, whether it's August 30th or August 4th, I would say prepare for 40,000. How's Mara and Riot? They're not good anymore. They're both AI stocks. They're no longer Bitcoin stocks. From what I've read, at the least. Let's see, Bitcoin divided by Meta. What is this? How does this look? This is ultra bearish. Bitcoin divided by Meta. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but it looks like when this chart is bearish, we go down. Not every time. Yeah, I could go for a cold cut hero right now. Man, you guys ever get those cold cuts like from a place? Not always a deli. Like not a deli like from the supermarket, but a deli like that has some guy behind the counter in a t-shirt, or a deli where it's like a deli where they have the sandwiches and shit. Man, I could go for a hero with the some tomato and lettuce, some mayonnaise. What kind of cheese? I guess we could go American cheese. I don't want bologna. I don't want ham. Maybe some turkey and salami. Oh man, a Diet Coke. Yeah. One of those would slap right now. Like a sub shop, yeah. Or like a party place. You know how if you're having a party and you order a hero, like it's a giant hero with a toothpick in it? Yeah. I need to try Crudos in Toronto. Yeah, if this all plays out, I'm gonna bring back my food channel because I'm actually gonna have money to fund it. Good morning to you beautiful people out there in YouTube world. Yeah, I haven't made a video in almost 12 months. I think my last video was in December. This is a big moment for me. I have to be right here. I'm never buying altcoins ever again. Never. I'm never, mark my words, I am never depositing another dollar. Well, if I want to gamble, I actually have to deposit money on Coinbase. But maybe you guys could send me some money. Let me check my Solana wallet. Does anybody send me any monies? Nope. Nobody send me any monies. Yeah, this guy sent me $7 on Solana and I turned it into 150 gambling and then I lost it all. Human monies. I don't condone or promote gambling, not financial advice. Call 1-800-GAMBLER for assistance. So here's a couple more pieces I'm watching. Tether did just make a new low. Tether has made a new low. Just letting you all know. What we would need to see to become ultra bears is we need to see Tether capitulate. The day I see Tether capitulate is the day I call the car. Remember when that guy said I call 2 car dealerships? If I see Tether go like this, I am going to be one of the happiest people. Vegeta says, I was like you last cycle where I only stuck to stocks. I didn't touch the memes, but then I saw you guys make amazing money on memes and switched. Yeah. The issue is, here's the problem. A lot of us had no choice but to buy meme coins because we had such little money. These YouTubers tell you to buy Bitcoin. If you only have like $2,000, Bitcoin will not save you. It's the harsh reality. You cannot get rich on Bitcoin anymore unless you're already worth 6 figures. Now, we could have bought Bitcoin in the past, but we had the attitude of we got to get rich now. So we bought meme coins. If you have a certain amount of money, I don't think you need meme coins. If you have $2,000, you have to buy meme coins. MSTR is a meme coin. It is what it is. It's a better meme coin. I definitely think MSTR is the better option, but it behaves like a meme coin. It goes up when the meme coins go up, and it goes down when the meme coins go down. That happened twice in a row now. Twice in a row, if you bought meme coins, if you bought Shiba in October of 2020, that was when MSTR went up. If you bought Pepe in October of 2023, that was when Pepe went up. Now, MSTR, I think overall, is much better than meme coins because it's MSTR. You don't have to guess. With meme coins, you have to guess which one is going to go up. But if MSTR is going up, you have to acknowledge that the meme coins are running wild. Can you make money on MSTR with $2,000? I think so. Why not? Are you going to get rich? No. So if your game plan is to just make money and you have $2,000, then Bitcoin will work for you. It's a good solid game plan to start an investing foundation. But if you have $2,000 and you think you're going to buy a Corvette by the end of the year, you cannot buy Bitcoin. It's not going to work. You have no choice but to buy Dog with Hat, not financial advice. But don't buy Dog with Hat because Dog with Hat sucks, not financial advice. So the problem is all of us were poor, so we had no options but to buy shitcoins. But now that I don't have to buy shitcoins, I'm never going back there because it's a shithole. Or if I do go back there, I'm going back there with a little bit of money. Because all of these guys get lucky and then they make a YouTube channel saying, look at me. And then they make even more money. I was never able to get lucky. Now, I could have gotten lucky a couple times, but because I've been so unlucky in the past, I didn't let myself get lucky. But I don't rely on luck anymore. I'm trying to make my money the old-fashioned way, which is why if we go down, I never have to deposit money into crypto ever again. So this is a big deal for me. The question is, are we going to go down? And I have to ask the opposite question, are we going to go up? And if the answer is yes, then when? And my question to the Moon Boys, what are you waiting for to trigger the move up? It should be the S&P 500 making a new all-time high. If not that, then what? What is going to make Bitcoin go up? Unlucky, you always say you messed up because you got greedy. Yes, Matthew Dropko. I made my money by making 50% returns about 10 times. If you get 50% returns 10 times, that's like a 5x on your money. My biggest return was a 5x on $700. Then I got a 3x. Then I got a 2x. And the sad part is all of those returns were retracements. Not one coin made a new all-time high. The only coin that I got lucky on was Hoppy. I think I put 100K on Hoppy, and it pumped. It was somewhere in June, because I was at a restaurant, and I was looking at Hoppy. Yeah, it was right here. I said to myself, dude, this thing just keeps going. I'm going to get in. And I finally took the leap of faith, and I got in. And I got a 200% gain on like 50K or something. Maybe it was 70K. Yeah, I don't know. It's something around here. So this was my biggest return. And of course, the one time I buy it, there's one more rally and then it goes down. So I made all my money on little 50% gains. I didn't get lucky. Now I had the chance to. I always say this. I'm never going to let it down until I get my money back. I put $500 on Myro and I got 1,000,000 coins. That was like back here. Because 1,000,000 coins turned into $500,000. But I had $500 and I sold it. I sold it right here because I didn't want to go back to being broke. And that is why I failed. That is why I always fail. And this is the psychological effect that we didn't understand until now. You can give, and this is why when poor people say if you give them money, they won't lose it, I guarantee you they lose it. Because all of us, well, not all of us, but all of us who made money and never had money before, we didn't know what to do with it, so we gave it back. If you give a poor person $100,000, they're going to blow through it however long it takes because they don't know what to do with it. When I got that money, when I went from $500 to $2,000, I was so happy. I said, oh man, I'm not poor anymore. And then it went all the way to 500,000. But I'm okay with that. This time around, I'm not touching this shit because I'm making sure that I don't get to that point to where I have to bet $500 to turn it into $5,000. I think you still can, and maybe I still will. I don't know. Maybe I do go back into the trenches, but I would go back voluntarily. And to wrap up this soliloquy, most of us were on this website because we had to be. If I don't have to be on here, I'm never coming on here. But I also know the power of this, and there's a time to get on here, and it's not now. Which is why I want to make the jump to stocks, because if we make the jump to stocks, then when it's time to jump on here, I could. But we're so far from that. You got lucky on Steamboat Mickey? Yeah, I got a 3x on there. That's what I said. I think that was my biggest return. No, I sold it over here somewhere. I sold it the New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, we were here. Yeah, but I didn't buy in at the bottom. I bought in here somewhere. I was already in on New Year's Eve. Yeah, I sold on New Year's Day or the next day. My biggest return was Dinger. I put $700 in, and I woke up the next day and I had 3,500, and I was like, "Fuck yes, baby!" Dude, I still remember that feeling. I was so happy. Dude, the feeling of being poor and then not being poor anymore is like the best feeling in the world. But now I lost so much money that I need to get it back in order to feel that. But I put my $700 in right here, and then I sold it. I remember I woke up at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, yo, holy shit. Yeah, I put $800 in right here, and I sold it. I think I sold it here somewhere. It went higher after I sold it, but then it pulled back, and I was like, okay, good, I sold the top. But then it went higher anyway. I think no, it had to have been like literally the day before it went up. Because I bought in, I went for a walk, and then I went to sleep, and it went to the moon. Yeah, so it was like right here. So I got like a 500% gain. That was my biggest return on $700. But that's all it is. But that's what I learned last market cycle. My whole journey in crypto is, oh, if I just buy in at the low, I'm going to get 100x when it goes back up. But it never does. That's why these people pushing this garbage, telling you it's going to go back to the all-time high. We learned the hard way that Doge never went back to the all-time high. But at least it almost did. But now we know crypto doesn't go back to the all-time high. So now I think this market cycle, we're ready. I think this is our best or most prepared market cycle. We know that only Bitcoin goes back to the all-time high. Everything else could, but it might not. So when I say I didn't get lucky, Mr. Matthew Dropco, I didn't get a 100x like all these other people on YouTube. Not all of them, but most of the... You have different kind of influencers. You have influencers that are influencers that just talk with a microphone and they don't actually draw anything. That's what I want to get to. I almost got there, but I fell back into the shadow realm. Then you have people who make charts and they trade. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people on X that just talk, like how I talk. I did the same thing. I made a lot of money. Well, I actually made my YouTube channel. Yeah, I made my YouTube channel after I made some money on Cosmos. But last market cycle, I never got more than a 500% gain. So this time around, I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna buy my... Yo, we're at 758, gentlemen. Hold on. Wow. Dude, we're really gonna make a new all-time high, and Bitcoin's not moving. Oh, they're really giving it to us. I got everything I asked for Christmas. Yeah, I don't know. I have to respect the possibility that Bitcoin spikes up, but if it doesn't, then there's no reason that I can even look for a rally. It's impossible. If we don't go up right now, it's not going up. I think we're at that moment. Place your bets. Place your bets. Card to the player. Card to the banker. Banker has baccarat. Player wins. Card to the player. This is it, man. If we don't start pumping now, I don't think we're going up. That is a data-driven response. When the S&P goes higher, if Bitcoin doesn't budge, it's bearish. When the S&P goes higher, if Bitcoin doesn't budge, it's bearish. S&P went higher here, Bitcoin went up. Yeah, look at this, dude. S&P went higher, Bitcoin didn't budge, and we were bearish. We went down again. This is it. Yeah, this is it, guys. If you look at when Bitcoin goes up, the S&P is going up, or it's about to go up. It is what it is, man. No bullshit. On God, cuh. When is this supposed to go up? It's now or never. Nah, this is it. I'm actually getting excited now. This is it. There's no more time left. The 4-year cycle says we're about to go down. So if we don't go up, we're going down. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in the next 2 weeks, if we're still at 63.9, because look at this. It doesn't feel like it, but we've been the same price since June 4th. We have now been the same price for 2 months. And if you look at the accumulations of the prior bear markets, we already went over this. When Bitcoin went up, the S&P was going up. In 2018, when Bitcoin went up, that's weird. When Bitcoin went up, the S&P went up. Well, the S&P went up first, and then Bitcoin went up. We're about to make a new all-time high, and she's not budging. She's not budging. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby, baby. This is it. This is it. What does he say? This is it. This is as big as you're gonna get. I hope you enjoy it. I forget what he says. It's a shame I had to give you a career, then destroy it. Pepe's accumulating nicely. Pepe. Dija is mooning. No, I don't think so. It didn't yet. I'm actually getting excited now. But here's the thing. We could always see a God candle, you know? Like it could always go like this. I'm respecting that. But it has to happen in the next week. But this is why I don't care, because it's happening when we were looking for it to happen. We're looking for it to occur in this red box, which means if it happens here, that's what we're looking for. It's bearish. I don't know if we're going to get up there, though. That's the problem. This is it. This is it. I don't believe that 33% of the chat thinks the bottom is in. There's got to be more of you. The way that you guys type in the chat. What happened to that Florida guy? He got upset that I didn't take his bait and he left. He went to the next streamer. The next streamer. Gators and cars, my man. Get him, get him, get him, Billy. Get him, Billy. What about unsure? That unsure. Yeah, I've been streaming a lot lately. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Right after this quick commercial break. Oh, here we go. Here's the rally. There she comes. We might be getting ready for a mega rally. Are you guys ready for the mega pump? On certain exchanges, for the most part, you are covered. For what? Look at the Pepe fart. What? 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 This guy says, I uploaded a short video yesterday. It got 10K views. Posted today, 5K views after a couple of hours. Let's see. What'd you post? Let's check out your YouTube channel. Says you got 1 viewer. Are we watching this guy's YouTube video? I don't know what it is. Oh, we got another. Hugh. Look at this dude. There's the guy in the chat. He's doing magic. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Some wizardry going on here. Whoa. Now he's got 2 balls. They gotta be. Whoa. They gotta be made out of cotton or something. There's no way. All right, I think the top is this week or next week if it's not in already. I have to stick to the plan. It's almost time, guys. I think it's almost time. Don't forget, even our MSTR cutout says it's almost time to go down. If we take our cutout from here to here, yeah, it's almost time to go down, man. One more rally up into the 12th of August, maybe, and then it's bearish. That might be it. Man, that stinks. I guess the S&P's not coming back for us after all, huh? I guess the S&P ain't coming back for us after all. Damn it, Bobby. Or is it? Maybe the semiconductors can still come back down. What do we think? The good thing is stocks and Bitcoin aren't always correlated. Well, if you're in a bull market, they are correlated, my young friend. My young friend. If you're in a true bull market, they are correlated. If you want to say they weren't correlated here, technically I could give you 3 months. Technically I could give you a 3-month stretch, you're right. Maybe it's August to January is 4 months. It does that all-time high every time before dump. Well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping people are getting bullish. We didn't make a new all-time high yet. That's my last hope. That we're doing something like this, where it's like a fake all-time high, or here, it's a fake all-time high. That's my only chance. Or even this, too. Yeah, no, you're right, actually. It does happen. It's a fake all-time high. Yeah. Yeah, even here. Whoa. Yeah, but this is a small correction. The S&P already, the QQQ already fell by 10%. So this is a legitimate correction, unfortunately. But I don't know. There's no way to tell. Question for you Americans. Aren't you American? This whole time I thought you were like a 40-year-old dad. 44-year-old dad that lives in Kentucky. Can you send bearish energy into the market? I don't know. We might not be bearish. If you're already shorting, I would make sure you don't get liquidated in case we take the high. I would really argue, though, if we don't get over the high this week, I don't think it's happening. Because there's no more time left. SB for 2 says, thoughts on ISM expansion like all prior cycles? I do appreciate the 2. That's USB Koi, right? Yeah, so we now see that this is the first market cycle where Koi has gone up, but Bitcoin has gone down. Very interesting. I think this further represents evidence of the 4-year cycle, in my opinion. The fact that the ISM is going to the moon and we still went down tells me that it's a 4-year cycle. Now, if you remember, I said it was a bear flag. I said it was a bear flag because I thought it mattered. And in my head, we were bearish. So because this matters, it has to make a lower low because we're bearish. But because it has no impact on Bitcoin, it can do whatever it wants. That's what I take away from it. And we're going to know even further if we go down again that this doesn't matter. So I'm not saying that I'm right, but that's my thoughts. We're seeing now for the first time ever, it's going up as Bitcoin is going down, which means it doesn't affect the 4-year cycle. So everyone that's saying, oh, well, it's this, that, the other thing, we're getting evidence that it's not. Now, if we go like this, you could probably argue, yeah, we're in a super cycle. Another low, there's no reason to ever look at this ever again. That's why I don't look at the Russell 2000 anymore. We used to think that when the Russell 2000 breaks out, we get all season until we got duped in 2024. And now people are getting duped again, thinking we're going to get all season because of the Russell 2000. But we hit a new all-time high and nothing happened. And now we've been hitting new all-time highs and nothing is still happening. But when you broke out in 2020, that exact moment was when we started going vertical. The fact that we've been going vertical on the Russell since April, and we're still not moving. Bearish. Bursh. I would say it's bursh. Same thing for Bitcoin. You see how Bitcoin went parabolic once the Russell broke the high? In 2018, the Russell broke the high, but Bitcoin did nothing. So I think we're right here. People are saying we're bullish because the Russell broke out. I think you're right here. The Russell and everything else is getting ready to take a shit on the back of the bus. And I think the semiconductors drew first blood. Because if we put the semiconductors on here, you can see they drew first blood in 2018 as well. Yeah, I think we're right in here, actually. And the thing that's so ironic is I think we're right here. And from the top, that's around 230 days. So if we move it out to 300 days, you can see the Russell had actually started going down by now, and Bitcoin's about to go down. So with that comparison, I have to, unfortunately, be open to the possibility that we don't get the stock market correction that we're hoping for. I can't guarantee it. Sadly. Can it still happen? I hope, but I can't guarantee it. But that'll be my takeaway. It goes up before Bitcoin. Let me see. Maybe I have the wrong information. Let me see. Am I looking at this incorrectly? He says it goes up before Bitcoin. Let me see. So in 2023, Bitcoin went up first. In 2018, Bitcoin went up first. And in 2013, Bitcoin went up first. So you're giving me false information. I appreciate the two. Majority still believe that the bottom is not in. They may be the reason. It could be. Again, we're at that moment where you have to just place your bet. I've gone over all the data. I've come up with a bearish conclusion. If you disagree, there's nothing wrong with that. Not you specifically, I'm saying in general. Some people look at the same data and they take it that it's bullish. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is there's no more data to look at. There's unlimited indicators. You can look at indicators forever, but we covered the most indicators that flip bullish when we're bullish and bearish when we're bearish. I am very happy with the I can't think of the word of it, not work, because I don't work, but I'm very happy with the product that I've put out over the last 2 months. If I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I looked at everything. So if we go up anyway, I'm okay with that because it's different this time. And the market's doing something that I couldn't have prepared for. But if we do exactly what we always do, then I'm going to be in the best position that I've ever been in my life. So whatever happens in the next 3 months, there's nothing left to look at. The data either says we're going much lower or we're going much higher. Now, if we just go sideways until December, then of course you have to open up that can of worms that maybe it's an extended bear market. That's probably unlikely. I think if we're still here in December, the bottom is probably in. But that would be very weird. So the moral of the story is I have no more information to look at because we've already looked at it. It's time to make your decision, gentlemen, and the one lady. If you're bearish, you're bearish. If you're bullish, you're bullish. If you're not sure, you're not sure. Not sure is a decision. I think if you're not sure of something, you shouldn't do anything. That's what I do. If I'm not 100% sure of something, I don't do anything. When we were down here, this is my honest emotion. Like, I'm being honest with you. When we were up here, my portfolio, technically my portfolio peaked back here, but like it went down, but then it peaked here. And then it made a lower high right here. So my net worth has been collapsing since this moment right here. Technically, it's since here because this number was lower, but you get the idea. When we were up here, in the back of my head, I was losing money, and I said to myself, okay, since the top wasn't here, we know that the top has to be here somewhere. I just don't know where. And I said to myself, all I need is like the smallest little alt pump, and I can get out. But the problem is we didn't even get that. But we knew the top had to be here somewhere. We just were hoping, okay, we're getting a pump, maybe the alts will pump, and they never did. So once we broke the level that says it's always bearish, I sold all my coins and I told you guys that's it. I did not call the top, but once we broke 100K, I said the bear market looks like it already started. And then I said, well, if it's a traditional bear market, we should actually bottom around here somewhere and go sideways. And I don't say that to call anything, because I don't call anything. But I'm telling you this because I said to myself and you guys, if we're still down here in January, then we know it's bearish. And I knew with certainty that we were bearish here. So I made decisions based on what I thought. When we got down here, once we reached April, even I said to myself and you guys, okay, I guess the crash isn't coming. Maybe there is going to be a big rally after all. But that is uncertainty. And since this moment, I have done nothing because I am uncertain. When you're uncertain, you should probably listen to your gut because your gut is normally right unless you've never done anything before. You know, like if you just bought Bitcoin for the first time and you say, oh, my gut says it's going to go up. If you've been here for long enough, then you've been here for long enough. So even when we were up here, we knew it was bearish, but I didn't know that it was going to go right back down to the bottom like this. So I didn't do anything. And that's why when we were down here in June, I still didn't do anything. And when we were down here, I remember telling you guys, a lot of people in the chat were bearish, and I said it could be bearish, but I'm not 100% sure we're going down here. And because I'm not 100% sure, I can't do anything. And I did nothing. And of course, we went up. Now I'm at the point where I'm not 100% sure if we have to go up again, but we got the relief rally. And if it is a traditional bear market, then we have to go down. And I remember up here, as we went over a couple of live streams ago, I said that if we're still down here in August, then it has to go down. And we're down here in August. So I am confident that we're going to go down. That doesn't mean I'm going to be right. But the moral of the story here is, if you're not sure, then not doing anything is a position. But we're getting to the point where I have to put my bear hat back on, because if we were going to go up, it should be right now. And we're just not moving. We're not moving at all. So I think we're at that moment where if you're sure it's a super cycle, your bet is already placed. If you're sure it's going to go down, your bet is already placed. If you're not sure, then not placing a bet or placing a balanced bet, there's nothing wrong with that. So let's say you have $10,000. You're not sure if the bottom is in, but you don't want to miss it. So maybe you put in 4,000. Now, if it goes down, you put the rest in. That's also an option. Everybody's got a different game plan. I'm not 100% sure we're about to go straight down. But if we're still down here, or we do come down here in August, in my opinion, I am 100% sure we're coming down here. I'm not saying that to be arrogant, because I'm not. But from everything we talked about over the last 2 months and everything we looked at, everything says if we're still down here, it's bearish. There's no reason why we should be down here to begin with. So we're at that point where we looked at everything. We looked at every single thing you can look at that's not too far into one rabbit hole. Obviously, you can go down the bullish rabbit hole and you can start saying, well, this says we're bullish. We can also go down the bearish rabbit hole and say, oh, well, this says we're bearish. I strictly looked at indicators that turn bearish when it's bearish and bullish when it's bullish. And the most of them are still bearish. There are bullish ones, and that's why I've tried to look at them and tried to dissect them. That doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but that's what I did. And that's why I'm saying, after everything we talked about, I am very happy with everything we talked about. Because if we really do go down from here, and we really do go down to 40,000 or lower, for some people, their lives will be changed. Some people's lives will be ruined. If we go like this, some people's lives will be changed. Some people's lives will be ruined. But with the BBWP doing what it's doing, you're going to get your answer. And there's no amount of data that we can look at to say, oh, maybe it is bearish. Maybe it is bullish. We've already made up our minds. Because when you get this blue bar, you can see in July, it looked like it was going to be bullish. And it technically was. You still went up 15%. That's a big move. If we went up 15%, the Moon Boys would be running wild. If we go down 15%, sayonara, we're at 53,000. In January, we got the same blue bar, and we fell by 36%. Which, if we fell by 36%, that's it. The bear market's over, 40,000. In 2022, you got the same blue bar, and we fell by 27%. In 2023, you got the same blue bar, and you went up by 40%. So we're at that time where it's either going to go up or down. We're not going to do this for much longer. And if it's a 4-year cycle, it says we should go down. And the fact that we have the blue bars gives us the firepower to go down. The question is, when? So I ask myself, well, let's put on the bull hat. When is it supposed to go up if it's going to go up? And I would have to imagine it's when the S&P makes a new all-time high. But the S&P didn't make a new all-time high yet. So maybe we are about to go up. I have to respect it, which is why I said earlier, I'm not 100% sure if the top is in. Maybe it is. But there's always that chance that there's one more rally left. But for me, once we come back down here, there's no more time. It's time to go down. Because why would it? Why would it come down here and then go up again? To make an inverse head and shoulders? If the ISM continues, the ISM reacts. Geez, Bitcoin only reacts to the ISM when it's above 55. Right, but the problem is you already told me that the ISM bottoms first, which is not true. It's the opposite. Now you're saying it's this. That is known as goalpost moving. I used to do that all the time. When you have to start shuffling the goalpost, it's better to just abandon it. I'm not saying you're wrong, but Bitcoin always bottomed first. So the fact that Bitcoin is going down as the ISM is going up tells me that it never mattered. It was just a coincidence. Just because I think that doesn't mean that you have to think that. There's things that I think that people think are rubbish, which is fine. As long as you're making money based on what you're doing, that's all that matters. But when I tell you guys this is a fucking life-changing setup here, whoever gets this right, man, that's it. This is it. This opportunity comes every couple of years where it's like you get a big move. The good news is if we do get this move down, we know that the next life-changing opportunity is not that far away. So if we get this when we're supposed to get it, then we know we're going to get this when we're supposed to get it. And if we get this, then we already know where this is, which is why this move down is so life-changing, because if we get the move down, we know where the move down is, we know where the move up is, and we know where the top is. Which means we're ready. So bring it on, baby. Who's going to be right? The Moon Boys or the Perma Bears? The Moon Boys or the Perma Bears? Best TA in the business? I would definitely not agree with that. I don't even do TA, but I would not agree with TA. I think my shitcoin TA is okay with the doo-doo coins, like where I draw my fibs and stuff, because it's very self-explanatory. But I don't actually do TA on Bitcoin. I'm just looking at what has always happened. And even that isn't 100% right. Because when we looked at the momentum said we should have gone down here, but we didn't. And that exact reason is why I'm bearish, because now people are saying the momentum is saying we should go up, and we're not. And that's what people are not looking at. I don't shy away from when I'm wrong, because it's important to know when you're wrong so you don't make the same mistake twice. The Gaussian channel turned red, and historically we always go down. And we went up. That's why when we were right here, I said to myself, and you guys, okay, there's no dump. It's over. I was wrong, right? The crash already formed a low. And then we went up. If I didn't swallow my pride, I would have been fucking destroyed. So I swallow my pride now all the time because it means I can live to fight another day. But the reality is this has always triggered the capitulation. But this time it didn't. And that's because the momentum actually topped in one of these. And the people that are saying the RSI is going to trigger the bull run, they're ignoring, I don't care what anybody says, they're ignoring the fact that the top of the RSI was 600 days before the actual top, the longest in history. So people are making the same mistake that I made. This one you can't even use. The top was the RSI. Even if you measure it to this one, it's still small. People are acting as if this was the top of the market. So now the RSI bottom has to be the bullish divergence. When we topped an entire 200 days, 270 days before the top, but the bottom is in the same spot. That doesn't make any sense. And I also know that I made the same mistake because remember what I said about the MACD? I said when the monthly MACD prints a red bar, it means the bottom forms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The bottom usually forms on the 5th or the 6th candle. That didn't happen this time. So people are looking at momentum indicators that have always worked in the past, but it's not the same anymore. For the first time in history, we had 2 white bars, and then we had a bigger red bar. That's never happened before. Because this market cycle is all out of whack. as far as momentum goes. But we're not looking at momentum anymore. I mean, I look at the stock RSI because that's like a live, that's real-time momentum. Like if the 4-day stock RSI is crossing down, it doesn't mean you're automatically bearish, but you can physically see that if you do not go up soon, it is bearish. But just because it's overbought here doesn't mean you can look back and say, oh, look, it was oversold here, now we're bearish. Like the Gaussian channel or the moving averages. Not to mention that people are still using the 200-week moving average saying, yeah, the bottom is in. Even though the very last market cycle, we went below it by 30%. I see so many people still saying the bottom is being formed, when the very last market cycle, the bottom was 36% below the moving average. So how does that make any sense? If the first two bear markets bottomed above it, then this one was 30% below it. Why would we bottom at it again? We would just skip this like it never happened? And some people don't give a shit. That's okay. I learned my lesson that these moving averages don't work anymore. You want more proof? Look at this. The green moving average crossed below the blue moving average. In 2018, that triggered the bull run. In 2015, that didn't necessarily trigger the bull run, but it triggered another big rally. Last market cycle, that same moving average triggered a rug pull to the bottom. Here it is again. The white moving average is about to cross below the red. We went up and then down. They're about to cross again. Does that mean that we're about to spike up and then go down? I can't tell you that because in 2015, they never even crossed. In 2018, they never even crossed. And this, to me, is because the momentum is topping out earlier every time. So the moving averages don't work the way that they used to, which is why we bottomed below the moving average. And this is why, if you've been following the channel throughout the entire year, I have pivoted away from this type of chart, and I've been focusing on this type of chart. And this is where we're at. We're really at that time where you got to make your bet. There's no, I can't tell you that you're right or wrong. I just have to hope I'm right. And if you're wrong and I'm right, I'm not saying I want you to be wrong, but if I had to pick between me and you, I'd rather be right. But I feel like we've looked at everything. Even the stuff that other YouTubers looked at, we looked at, and we saw that they were hiding some stuff. Like the popular thing is people look at the Russell and they say, oh, well, look, the Russell broke out, so we should go up. But that happened in 2018 and we didn't go up. The Russell continued to move higher throughout 2018, and we went down anyway. Unless I'm not understanding it, what's the difference? I believe it happened in 2015 as well. Yeah, what the Russell went higher and Bitcoin was still bearish. So what am I not seeing that everyone else is saying the Russell is bullish means we're bullish? Do I have a backup plan if it goes to 103K? Yeah, if Bitcoin goes over 80K, I just say I was wrong and I make a plan. I'm not going to be bearish to 100,000. Oh, I wanted to look at that actually. Yeah, the super trend is pretty useful. I can't totally rely on it because it's not 100% accurate, which nothing is. But I've looked, and once the super trend goes bearish in a bear market, you usually stay below it. So the 5-day super trend is pretty reliable. So if we broke over the 5-day super trend, I would say that we're not going down. So once we break 76K, that's when I would say, okay, the bottom is probably in. Because we had our chance to get through it and we went down. And this is why I still remain bearish. There is no reason for us to have gone down here. The S&P 500 literally made another high, and then we went down. You see how Bitcoin topped here, and then Bitcoin, or whatever this is, pulled back, and then it went up again, and we went down anyway. Then we crashed when the S&P pulled back. Why can't that happen right now? I think it's about to happen right now, because the same thing happened in February. The S&P made a new high, we made a lower high. The S&P pulled back, we crashed. The S&P went back up, we made a lower high. The S&P pulled back, we crashed. That's exactly what's happening right now. The S&P is about to make a new high, we're not moving. I always have to be open to a possibility that there is another rally, but if the S&P pulls back again, then this is going to trigger the move down because there's no more time left. If the 4-year cycle is going to truly play out, we do have to start moving down, unless it's going to be a very sharp move at the end of August, which I am open to. We don't have to go down in August as far as, well, go like this. We just have to be back at the low at some point in August. So if we're back at the low at any time in August, I go in my bear bunker and I prepare for 40,000. But the super trend does suggest that we are still in a bear market. Does it mean it's going to be right? At some point, I do think it's going to break. See, even here you got a buy signal and then it broke. 2018 it held, 2022 it held, and this as well, we're still bearish. So if Bitcoin just erupts past 73,000, then I would probably say, okay, the bottom formed, I was wrong. I'm not going to be bearish all the way up. The problem is every time we hit the point that we have to break, we go back down. And that's what's happening right now. Well, unfortunately, we didn't even hit the point where we're supposed to turn bearish. That's why I'm a little bit frustrated. Because for me to get the best possible setup, we needed to hit this, we needed to get over this yellow moving average and then go down. But I wanted us to be done with it already because the Moonboy chart says we're supposed to go down soon. So the fact that we didn't break it, my mind says this is still possible, even though it might not be. But the reality is, every time this market cycle, we have gotten over it. So I am open to it. I am open to it. But that yellow moving average is the point where it's supposed to turn bearish again. And the fact that we can't even get to it, let alone get over it, is bearish. But there's always that chance there is another rally coming. And that's why the S&P is going up so much. But it's just a bunch of runaround. But what if, but. When is this supposed to happen? It's supposed to happen right now. Because look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 thrusted up for a new all-time high. Bitcoin hits the yellow moving average. Bitcoin hits the yellow moving average here, right as the S&P thrusted up for a new all-time high. Bitcoin hits the yellow moving average here. Focus on the white line. White line breaks the all-time high. Bitcoin moves up to the moving average. We're about to make a new all-time high, right? Probably this week. So I have to respect the data there is a chance it gets up there. I don't know if it's going to, but technically it should. I was just hoping that it would have by now because we're turning bearish soon, in my opinion. But every time the S&P moves back to the high, Bitcoin spikes up to the moving average. We're max bullish right now on all the momentum, so we still could get up there. And us getting up here is what will trigger everyone who's not sure to be bullish. And if it is bullish, then we're just going to go to the moon. But if it's not bullish and it is still bearish, we'll come right back down. And once we come back down, there's no recovering. It's time to go down. So I am open to 68K. I am. I hate that it didn't happen. It's frustrating. But it should still happen. Doesn't have to, because we're entering the bearish phase, in my opinion, once this week ends. So I turn back into Mr. Bear, I think, on August, like, I don't know. Today's Monday the 3rd, so next week is Monday the 10th. I guess Wednesday or Thursday I turn back into Mr. Bear next week. Am I still live? Yeah, but I'm gonna end the stream soon. Retail is still convinced we're going down before going up, which tells me the exact opposite's about to happen. It could be, man. Like I said, it sounds like you already placed your bet, which is great. You got to do what's best for you, man. That's all you can do. But we're getting to that point where the answer is going to come. The problem is, if you're wrong, not you specifically, but if you're wrong, the other side of the trade is deadly for everybody. But I guess we shall leave it there for today. I'm surprised the semis didn't bounce. They actually went down. But we shall return tomorrow. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. But with that said, as always, stay safe. None of this is financial advice. I appreciate the support. We shall return tomorrow. Take care. And I shall see you soon.